Hi there. Welcome to Sunnyside Journals. Welcome to another work session for 'tis the season. I'm going to do a little bit of work on my winter lore journal today. Last time we got together on this one, I did the gilding wax on the spine. Really happy with how that turned out. It was wonderful. We did it live together, and gosh, it was nice having all those supportive comments to read going on beside uh, the screen, saying you can do it. It was really nice. I got to remember that next time I have to do something that I know is going to stress me out. Actually, I should do it live for the moral support. It was nice. I'm going to actually do something really boring today. I'm going to prepare papers for inside this winter lore. Now, I gave myself a bit of a tricky thing. Oh, I need a sip of this. I got this new mug the other day. Look, it's got a C on it. Ah! It was 59 cents. Oh, let me have a sip. Oh my goodness. Yum. All right, I got to get this off my desk to avert any tragedies, any Christmas tragedies. Now, let me explain to you, for artistic sake, the trouble I gave myself. The dimensions for this book lend itself very nicely to 8.5 by 11 papers folded in half to make signatures. My thing is that I wanted drama because, like, that's just beautiful nature drama. This was from a paper placemat. I've had a lot of you ask, where did you get those papers? It's gorgeous. They were Christmas paper placemats. I actually bought a big pad of them one year for Christmas. This was many years ago before I ever started junk journaling. And sorry, I spilled some of I love all those Christmas coffee creamers right now that are out, and I had some on my finger, and yum. The Turtles coffee creamer is so good. Anyhow, I'm wandering off topic. And I still had the placemats in with all my Christmas decorations. And I guess maybe 3 years ago, I just kept packing them away every year, not using them and packing them away because I'd want to use my vintage Christmas tablecloths and that. And then I looked at them and I thought, oh, it's so beautiful. I should be putting them in journals because by that point I was making repurposed journals. Anyhow, so that's in case someone new is here today, and I get the question every time you see this cover, and where did you get that paper? It was a placemat, and I have looked for them again because trust me, I would buy a whole pad again, all over again. I just love this so much, but I only have 10 sheets left, so there will be 10 journals, and then they're done. Anyhow, I gave myself a challenge because I wanted a really extreme curve on this. I wanted it to look quite like a smallish tome. So I wanted a really dramatic curve. But think about it, that will displace my papers. They will go further back into the cover than they normally would have had this been where the, say there was just a gentle curve in the book, then the 8.5 by 11 folded in half would fit perfectly. But my papers are going to come back a little further, so I'm going to need them to come out a little bit further. And that means that I'm going to have to use legal size paper for this journal. Oh, hold on. I need my timer. Now, hold on. I'm already 4 minutes in, so let's set it for 25 minutes. Are we going? We're going. Okay, good. So I need to see when it's full how wide this is going to be. And this seems to be about 1 3/4. And I think that's because the curve displaced how big I made the spine. I believe I made was 2 inches, but because of the curve, think about it, it brings the ends closer together. So I may need more papers if, anyhow, I'm going to prep as many as I think I'm possibly going to need. Now, for this journal, I'm thinking I want a really peaceful, wintry solstice journal. There's going to be no Santa in this. There's going to be no nativity in this. This is going to be winter and peaceful and stars and moon and evergreens and I'm hoping like a tip of the hat to my Celtic ancestors. So, and I'm thinking that I want blank pages in the whole thing. I'm thinking I want to do all tea-dyed paper, but I have a file folder saved full of, oh, hold on, spine. 1 3/4. Oh, I need to write this because I'll forget. 1 3/4 inches. 7 signatures. I bet I'm going to do either 9 or 11 signatures. Signatures. There we go. Just so I know. I have fussy cuts that I save throughout the year and put it into my winter solstice file folder that I call it. That just, illustrations or whatever that I think would look beautiful in a winter solstice kind of book. Or in a nature journal. I also pull from it if I'm making a forest lore kind of book. So, but normally when I would also add in scrapbook paper, pages, folios from actual old books, that sort of thing. I'm not doing that with this one. It's going to be all blank tea-dyed paper with the occasional fussy cut or stamp. I think I'm going to do some stamping. And I have some quotes for solstice and winter that I'm going to also put in. So that's my plan for this winter solstice journal that I've made. So that's why it's not going to be terribly exciting today. I have to use legal size paper because it, like I said, 8.5 by 11, which normally would fit, is not going to fit. I'm going to need just that teeny tiny bit more. Now let's see. I'm folding it in half initially because paper that has been tea dyed, once it's dry, it's not necessarily perfectly rectangular again. So by doing a fold, I know that if I cut a new end here, tear a new end here, because I want torn edges, I know for sure that the north-south edges will be parallel the whole way. They won't be distorted. So I just want to see if it happens to go in where I want these to come out to. See if let me find an 8.5 by 11 so I'll show you what I'm thinking about. In case you're wondering, Catherine, what are you talking about? So here's a folded 8.5 by 11 tea dyed, or is it coffee dyed? No, that's tea. So here's what the size difference is for folded. But think about it. If I have them sewn in and then they slowly start curving in to snug into the back of that spine, which is normal. Old books do that. Hold on, and I'll find you an old book. You're never, ever going to shut up the homeschooling mom in me. I'm always going to be trying to make a lesson out of everything. All right, let me find an old book. Okay, this one has a gentle example. So, curved spine on this one. I love this book. Isn't that pretty? Hymns and Canticles. This is like 1800s. Catherine, you're off on a tangent. Come back. 1885. It's going to make a really pretty journal one day. So see how the text block, because they hammer it to get it into place, to snug it in there, it's curved that way, and that curves your pages here. So I'm anticipating that happening. But since I want a torn edge, I want this book to sort of be a tip of the hat to natural and nature. If I think about it, if I tear off this edge, it's going to make it even shorter, and it already just fits. That's even too much space for what I normally like. So I'm going to want my pages to come out to here, especially because, let me make sure I'm in camera. I don't want to put laces on the edge of this. I actually want, if there's things sticking out, it's going to be papers, maybe some twigs, feathers, birch bark, that sort of thing. That's what I'm imagining, at least right now. So I really feel that I need this to come out to here. And then it can still have its gentle curve. So I think I want it out to about there. And that way, the center of the text block, if it goes back in a little bit further, that's all right, because the initial outside signatures will come out to there. Now, well, how much is that? So if I put it here on 4, that will be halfway. I know what I'll do. Where's my masking tape? Okay. Because this is not going to be exciting. But I got something for us to do while you watch me. You're not going to be watching paint dry, but it'll be about as exciting as watching paint dry, watching papers torn. All right, so there is... There's that one. And then, if I want it to here, I want it halfway. Approximately. That's not even. Oh, rats. Okay, so if I want it there, that's better. So this will help me because I'm going to be doing a lot of these. So if that's about let's see. Ruler. Oh, I need a metal one. Metal ruler. That's better. So if I go there, yeah, you're not over enough. Need you over a bit more. That's better. Quarter of an inch. Quarter of an inch. Okay, I'm good. So here's what I anticipate that I'm going to be doing is putting paper there. I can look for this line, and then I can lay my tear ruler down. Now, here's where I need to make another decision. This tear ruler is stronger than this one, but this one, it has sort of a repeating pattern because it's, you know, it's machine made. Where this is my one that I created myself. So it's more random and more of a natural tear. But it's not as tough as the metal one. But this is the one I would like to use. So I've got to see if it can handle all the tearing that I'm going to be doing. Now I might have to do it one sheet at a time. So let's see. It just needs to be approximate because it's tear. Now, can I do 2 at once? Because that would be nice. Then you sort of have to pivot your hands down again. And then I slide it off. Yeah, that's nice. See, that's... Let me show you this one so you can know what I'm talking about when I say it's... I don't know, it just looks a little bit too on purpose. Does that make sense? So there's that one. And then there's this one. Do you see the difference? This one's a little more extreme and definitely random, whereas this one isn't. I just see the pattern repeating. It's like, I don't know about you, we have a white noise machine for sleeping at night, and I can hear the link in it. I can hear the repeat in it. It drives me nuts. So I usually have my earphones in and listening to something peaceful in my earphones. Or else a fan going. I really like a fan going. So that's the plan for all the pages. So if I'm doing like 9 signatures, I think I'm going to be able to fit a lot of pages in because there's not going to be pockets and tuck spots. I might simply put 2 tuck spots full length on inside of each cover, and I may make the journaling board. I may put a tuck spot onto the journaling board, and that way there will be tuck spots. And then it'll be up to the new owner to, if they want to put pockets in, they can. All right, so first I have to start folding a ton of papers. I'm going to start with 9 and get those ready so that they are the first pages of the signature, and that way I don't have to prepare, I don't end up preparing too many pages. So that's 1, 2, and I will do my little tabs on them. You know how I put post-it note tabs, and then I can slowly start filling it until I feel like it's my preferred fullness. I'm really happy with all of the my stack of tea-dyed papers that I've prepared for the winter. I got myself into a habit, and I kept meaning to just do a short little video on it. I started a new routine maybe a month or 2 months ago. I noticed that I always make pot of tea for my hubby and I when we, for first thing in the morning. And I noticed that I always had about 1 cup of tea left over. It was cold, and I was always pouring 1 cup of tea down the sink. And then I realized, why don't I just do 10 sheets of paper? And that way 1 cup of tea is more than enough to tea dye 10 sheets of paper. And I have a pan that's just for soaking tea dye paper. Hold on, let me count. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I'm going to do 11. Let's do 11. More signatures is always prettier than not enough. Anyhow, so I got myself into the habit of just tea dyeing 10 legal size papers every morning with the leftover tea. And the nice thing about the 10 was I could lay them out on my kitchen counters. I'm really lucky. The kitchen in this house, boy, I could have used this house when I was raising children. The kitchen in this house is the kitchen of my dreams, and I have a lot of counter space I'm grateful for. I can lay out the 10 sheets every night at bedtime when I'm going around turning off lamps, and I get the kettle full and ready for in the morning, so there's less to do in the morning. I lay out the wet paper that I've had soaking at some point during the day and then draining. And when I get up in the morning, they're dry. They're dry, ready to go, and I simply put them under my cutting board with a rock on top, and I don't have to iron them. And they're just good to go. And I got into this habit of doing it every day with the leftover tea. And I'm going to have to stop soon because I'm going to have too much tea-dyed paper. But it's not overwhelming. I had been putting off tea dyeing because it seems to be like an all-day thing, and that's good in a way. You get it over with. But I find that maybe my attention span just isn't long enough to spend an entire day tea dyeing. And doing 10 sheets a day in 1 cup of tea, that is manageable. And I find that you'll see, different colors. I keep a little jar of baking soda right out on the counter so that I remember to throw some in to neutralize the acidity. Now I've lost count because I've been talking too much. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. There we go. Yay! We're good. So I'm happy with that little routine, and I thought I would pass that on to you in case tea dyeing paper overwhelms you as well, but you like to have it ready to go for a junk journaling emergency. Well done. Where are these? There we go. 1, 2, 3, 4. Hope you're all doing well. 5. I'm doing well. Hubby is doing well. People I love are doing well. 6. 7. 8. 9. 10. Yay, Catherine can count. What did you do today? Well, I watched Catherine writing numbers on Post-it notes. It's very exciting. All right, now, how am I for time? Oh, we got 6 minutes. Well, we can get started. All right, so we are going to use the blue. Let me move this stack because it's giving me a shadow. There we go. So I watched here. I've got something we can talk about. While where'd my blue ruler go? Oh, come on. Oh, there it is. I watched the other day. I'm sure you've all watched it. It was so good. Barbara from 49 Dragonflies and Joey DeFee and Gail Agostinelli answered some subscribers' questions. together. Gosh, it was fun. It was so entertaining. And it reminded me of last summer when Nancy and I answered some questions and how much fun that was when the subscribers posed questions. And they had some very interesting questions. Oh, come on, you. Sorry, it's trying to tear in this way. So I'm trying to avert a tear emergency. They asked some interesting questions that intrigued me. And so I wrote them down and I thought, you know what? I can tear paper and I can answer what I think I would have answered to those. So one of the questions was, what piece of ephemera is your favorite and why? And so, of course, that got me to thinking, what would be my favorite piece of ephemera? Because it stumped me. And I have to think, like, what do I always put into a journal of ephemera? So not necessarily, like, I know I always put in a Two Nanas bookmark. But I was thinking, like, of the things I reach for that I really enjoy putting in. Like, for example, Barbara likes making coin envelopes out of book pages, and she always reaches for those. And I think for me, it's got to be, I love making journaling tags out of index cards, old index cards. And I also love... oh, now it's gone out of my head. Oh, postcards. Even if it's because you've used an ugly postcard, I'm going to try ripping one page at a time rather than doing two. Even if you use what's not a very pretty postcard and put a new image on top of it so that you save the back of the postcard, that's just really cool. I was thinking maybe for me, I really enjoy putting postcards in as a journaling spot. So now what was the next question? This one was easy for me. What is your favorite embellishment item to use and why? And for me, hands down, and you know it because I'm still at the point, I'm Canadian, I keep apologizing. I love Distress ink. Distress ink is a game changer for making a junk journal that you want to look old. It just is. And for making papers look old if you don't want to put them into a tea bath, to add stenciling, to add dimension, faux age, which is what I like doing to make it look old even when it's brand new. Distress ink, or even just a regular ink pad. It doesn't have to be distress ink. You can use a regular ink pad to make the edges, to yellow or brown the edges of your papers. And I just think for this kind of journal that I enjoy doing, I can't imagine doing it without distress ink. I couldn't do it. So I thought, for me, that's distress ink. This one, what's something new you've learned about yourself and your creativity in the past year? And I think for me, something I've learned in the past year is that I really, I want to maybe in the new year spend more time working a little bit more on my own artwork. You know, mixed media art journaling. Because I discovered that I really enjoy using the stuff that I used to put into junk journals, actually making art for myself out of it too. So I want to find a little bit of balance, I think, next year. And I do not do New Year's resolutions, but I will sort of set myself a challenge to see if I can do it of something each year. That way, if it's not a New Year's resolution, then I don't disappoint myself when I don't accomplish it. But, oh, you. So I think that's what I've learned about my creativity, is that I want to actually be more creative art-wise and still make journals, because I just love making journals. When I see a book, my mind immediately starts, what could I do with this? What would I do with this? What would I fill it with? I just enjoy it so much. At least for now I do. You know, never say never about things, but for now I enjoy that. But I think maybe next year, I don't know, maybe I'll find a way. Maybe I should try and challenge myself to 1 hour out of every day to do my own artwork before I start working on whatever my latest journal is. Let me see how I am for time. Oh, I'm at 30 minutes and I still had some questions to answer. Well, we'll do those in the next one. Thanks for joining me today. It was not my heart. And yeah, well, get out there, have a great day, and we will talk soon. Bye.